are a gorgeous mother-daughter duo. One was the first black woman to grace the cover of Vogue magazine, and the other is one of today's most popular plus-size models. Now, they've moved in together and are trying to rebuild a rocky relationship in their new show, Beverly's Full House. Take a look.
My mom has always had an opinion on my weight. Because models of my mom's time, if you're like, have an overweight child or something, they will hide you because it's such a morphed mindset of being thin, 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 thin. And growing up, it's hard to really understand where it's coming from.
Please welcome Beverly Johnson and Anansa Sims.
Welcome to
beautiful.
The show. It is so exciting to have you here. Because, well,
you're just excited because they're your height.
I am. I'm so excited to look a woman in the eye. But I'm also excited because I actually was talking about this with my mom earlier about how seminal that moment was when you were on the cover of Vogue. I mean, it meant something to every woman in the world, and especially to black women. I mean, it was such a leap forward. And did you realize when it happened, maybe the bigger, not just that you were on the cover of Vogue, which is probably huge, but that you were the first black woman on the cover?
No, I did not. I just knew that it was, you know, what every model wants to do is be on the cover of Vogue. Yeah. And I must say that after I had the cover, well, I couldn't believe I was on the cover. I slept with it near my bed, and then I would wake up, turn the light on, and look at it. Oh, yeah, that is Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And you know, it's as exciting today as it was yesterday.
You got into modeling also, but you had a big struggle with it.
I did, because I'm not naturally thin, but I really wanted to model like my mom. So I begged to take a year off of school, and I like starved myself. I did all these unhealthy things. I worked out 5 hours a day, crazy. And you know, I got to almost to the size they wanted, and I signed, and I was doing really well. But I just couldn't maintain the unhealthy, you know, eating, and
she was hungry.
I actually fainted in the elevator.
Oh my God!
On the way to a shoot, and you know, it was at that moment I just
Texas know this.
It was at that moment I was like, you know, that's my dream, but it can't be for me because I don't want to do this to myself.
Yeah.
And then later I found out about plus size modeling, and I'm so happy. I work so much more, and I'm just true to myself.
So beautiful.
Now, the two of you have spoken pretty openly about having a difficult relationship. So why is that, and where do things stand now?
Well, I think mother and daughter relationships are very complex anyways. And I thought this was a perfect opportunity for Anansa and I to, you know, look at some things in the past because her father and I were divorced at a very young age, and we actually had a custody battle that I lost, and which was devastating for me. Of course, I remained very close to my daughter, and then she came back to live with me at 11 years old because he gave her back to me at 11 years old. I had
the choice to go.
Yes. Oh, that's right. He wanted to be, he was moving to Africa. You didn't want to go to Africa, or...
I came to California.
Oh, anyway, so she came to California. But at any rate, I personally thought there has to be a lot of layers there that needed to be addressed. I mean, sometimes you do have to look back at the past in order to, you know, be in the present and the future. So my daughter's a fan of reality shows, and this opportunity came up, you know, due to actually a co-producer that you have here on the show who really came up with the idea. And we work with life coaches and therapists, but communication is so important, not only in mother and daughter, but in life. You know, that is what we really need to do, is communicate and listen to one another.
Now, when you guys agreed to move in together to do a reality show, Anansa, you wanted your mom to sign a contract between you and your husband and your mom.
Really, it was between, like, me and my mom, because I remember coming back from college. Anytime I came home, all of a sudden, I'm the dog walker, I'm the dog feeder, I'm the housekeeper. So I had a curfew. So, like, as an adult, I was like, okay, I'm coming back. but I need you to sign here. So I make sure in the morning you're like, did the dogs get fed yet? And I don't have to say, I didn't do it, right? You know? So I just want the boundaries to be set.
She wanted the boundaries to be clear, and you know, and David was her fiance at the time, and she says, and we'll buy all the food and everything, and you can eat, but your friends can't eat any food. I'm like,
she eats small fish.
yeah. So my assistant said, well, ask her how much she's going to pay to live there. I said, so how much are you going to pay me to live here? She said, pay you? I said, yeah. She said, well, you being the NBA, how much are you going to charge? I said, $500 much? Too much. $400? No. $300? A little lower. $200 a month. She said, okay. I never saw the $200.
Beverly's Full House can be seen Saturday nights at 10 on OWN. We'll be right back.
In Sweden, it is a tradition to take coffee breaks or fikas twice a day. And now is the perfect time to start fikaing like a Swede with a rich but never bitter cup of Gevalia coffee. And here to show us how is design and lifestyle expert Kristen Cunningham. Welcome. Okay, so tell everybody how a fika is different than a traditional American coffee break.
Well, you know, as Americans, we have a very hard time putting down the phone, shutting the laptop, slowing down a little bit, and we're so conditioned to multitask and get a million things done. And a fika is really about having a good cup of coffee, a great little snack, enjoying the moment with another person, and actually taking a pause, taking one moment of the day to kind of, enjoy the moment, smell the roses a little bit.
I like it. All right. How would you create a fika moment?
Well, you know this. I mean, your coworkers really do become like family. You spend as much or more time with your coworkers than you do, right? But maintaining healthy relationships with your coworkers is half the battle to having a productive and positive work experience. So fika with each other.
Too.
And eating cookies. Yes. So here's how you do it. You keep these things at the ready. You start with a handwritten note because it's all about this experience being nice and lovely, right? Little doll horse makes it very Swedish. So invite your coworker to fika. Put some great coffee in a thermos, invest in one of these bad boys that has all the cups and plates and everything you need in one place, so you can take it and go to the park or go to the lobby. The point is to get away from the desk, put the phone on vibrate, and actually talk and enjoy snacks.
Very cool.
Snacks are very important.
Right. Okay, well, now that we've figured out how to fika at the office, we want to join the ladies at the table.
Yes, we want to fika at home.
Yes, more comprehensive
Hi,
fika.
Hello. Nice
Very exciting. This is obviously a much more expansive fika experience here. This is about fikaing at home. So tell us how we can fika at home.
Well, none of this was hard to put together. Again, the idea is that you're inviting people into your home to take a breather, do something that feels a little bit nicer than just come over for your average cup of coffee. Because remember, Gevalia is not your average cup of Joe. It's actually a cup of Johan. So so they've got a great variety of flavors to be able to do pairings or tastings with. Wow. So what a nice way to put together a party.
Kind of walk us through some of the pairings. Like what are all these different snacks that you've brought?
Well, y'all know that I like it to be easy and I like it to be on a budget. So the idea is to take Scandinavian dishes, because in Sweden you really need to present your guests with about 7 options in case 1, 2, and 3 aren't good enough. You gotta have lots of options for everybody. So there's typical Scandinavian dishes that I've taken kind of the American spin on. The cinnamon roll is one of the most basic. Everybody's gonna expect you to have cinnamon rolls. I took the kind that comes in a tube, you braid it, it looks fancy, it feels like a really nice dish.
Do you want to sit? I feel like you should sit.
I was trying to hostess, but I can hostess with the mostest from the table.
Is this a grilled cheese sandwich? Is this a grilled cheese?
It is, because the other big dish in Sweden is the open-faced sandwich, but this is America. So we're doing grilled cheese, putting marmalade on it. We call it fancy. That's what we're doing there. The fruit salad is another common dish. So we sliced pears, a little bit of blue cheese, a little bit of chocolate. It becomes a dish. But really, the most important part here is to put the little name tags, and you call it by the Swedish terms, and suddenly this is really a fika instead of just a smorgasbord of American food.
Right. And these they have a typical kind of chocolate ball that they eat there, but you've named it something. They're brownie bites.
It's Swedish terms, so it looks like we know what we're doing. But I think the most important part is pretty textiles, put together a nice little color story, come up with hostess gifts. They don't need to be expensive or hard. This is, send your friends home with the favorite bean, mason jar with a coffee filter as a lid. How cute is that?
So pretty.
Super inexpensive.
I've gorgeous.
I've actually fikaed. I got to go to Stockholm and I fikaed in Sweden, and this is actually nicer than any of the fikas that I did when I was there. So it's really nice. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
But all really easy store-bought items.
The thing that I really like about this idea, though, is that it's taking a moment to stop and relate to another person. And that is something that I feel like is kind of going by the wayside in our society. And those are the moments where you can really understand what another person is going through.
Right.
And I feel like we're losing that. And to introduce this in whatever way you want to do it. And I love the idea of having an unusual fancy coffee because it says, I'm having a special moment with you, or we're having a special moment together. And I think we're losing it. And I think it's important to bring it back.
It's the handwritten notes.
Oh, I love that. Kristen Cunningham, thank you so much for educating us and bringing us goodies.
You got it.
Now, a lot of you at home have asked us, what is in those talk coffee mugs? Well, today we are enjoying Gevalia coffee with our fika snack, and so is everyone in our studio audience. Now, previously available only online, Gevalia is now offering its top 10 flavored and decaffeinated varieties in supermarket coffee aisles nationwide. Everyone here is going home with 8 varieties of Gevalia coffee for a chance to win your own set. Learn more about Gevalia coffee and to get Kristen's fika tips, log on to thetalk.com. We'll be right back. Up next, Easter brunch ideas from Chef David Myers.